Hello, everybody. This is Teacher Levy. Today, I will be making another slow English video. I have posted other slow English videos on my channel. You can go check those out if you would like. Now it is the summer, so I am in a lake. This is a lake because it is a very big amount or size water. Notice water, we can say water. And a small body of water we call a pond. That is a pond. So today I wanted or I wanted to talk about my teaching experience as an English teacher. I have been teaching English for notice about 6 years now, give or take. Give or take means about. Give or take 6 years teaching English, or around 6 years. A lot, notice a lot of people have requested or asked about one on one lessons, and I have finally updated. Notice updated, we can say updated our or my schedule. So I will put a link. Notice put. I will put a link in the description of this video and also on my channel description or about page, and you can book a italki lesson. Italki is a platform that I have been using for many years now to teach English, and you can book a lesson and speak with me if you would like. So I will share about my teaching experience going back to when I started, or started is okay. We can understand you, but we can practice saying started. I started about 6 years ago, and it was mostly online in the beginning. The water, notice water, we can say water, is bit, a little bit chilly. When something is a little cold, we can say a little chilly. The temperature, notice temperature, the temperature of the water is a little chilly, but I wanted to film the video here because of the beautiful, notice beautiful scenery. Scenery is the view. I have talked about that in a previous video. After I finished school, I wanted to be more independent, so I decided to start teaching because it was something that was easy for me to get into. To get into something like a job or a hobby is to start doing something. It was easy for me to get into and to get the ball rolling. To get the ball rolling means as well to start something. So it was easy or easier for me to get the ball rolling on English teaching after I finished school. I will talk about some ideas or thoughts that I've had from starting to now still teaching students. When I first began, I gave plenty, notice plenty, plenty of homework, and I had a very high expectation of my students for their English assignments and English material, which I gave them. Nowadays, we can say now or nowadays, perhaps I have a more realistic approach that the students have their own work and their own personal lives. Notice life or lives, their own personal lives. And sometimes they are unable to stay consistent with doing their homework or attending English lessons. Of course, some students are more motivated. Notice motivated. They are more motivated than others. Motivation is one of the keys of success, I've noticed, for English, as well as discipline, because sometimes students have excuses, for example, sickness or feeling tired or being busy, which throws them off track. Off track is into a different direction. It throws them off course, is the same expression. It throws them off course and out of their learning habit. Instead of sticking consistently to learning every week, they decide to take a few weeks off, and instead of progressing, they regress, which means they go backwards. They forget words or vocabulary or expressions. Notice forget. We can say forget. They forget words. I also want to mention, notice want. I also want to mention. To mention is to talk about in person versus online lessons. I have done both, and I think there are some advantages and some disadvantages. Notice advantages or disadvantages. We can say advantages or disadvantages. Of course, in person lessons are more personal, so you feel perhaps a better or closer connection with the student or between the student and the teacher, but you can have a similar effect online. The online lessons have more of a sense of flexibility. Notice flexibility. We can say flexibility. You are more flexible to join from different locations, different areas, different rooms, and also at different times. Notice different times. So online lessons can be more flexible and convenient. They can be more convenient for both the teacher and the student. I also believe the teaching atmosphere or the teaching environment, we can say teaching atmosphere or teaching environment, has changed, and it is ever changing. It is continuously changing. Now, with the advancement or development, notice development, the development of AI, there are many tools, even AI teachers who can perhaps teach you English. So we have to adapt and utilize. To utilize is to use these different tools to our advantage. Advantage. Our advantage. I believe the teaching materials now are endless. Endless means they have no limit. Notice limit. They have no limit. There is all kinds of different English content or content on YouTube, Instagram, social media. So there are no excuses, and most of it is free. From my perspective, English courses or a lot of paid content is not as useful as it was 5 or 10 years ago because now you can have most of it for free on YouTube, Google, or even using AI to get English material. Now, to have discipline, consistency, and commitment are perhaps the most important things. Also, with platforms like italki or different platforms or websites, you have more access to native teachers than ever before. This is another great advantage of technology. You can talk to native speakers from the comfort of your own home. So definitely take advantage of that. The word commitment, notice commitment, we can say commitment. The word commitment, in my opinion, is a combination of time and money. I believe putting in time and also putting in money, notice putting, we can say putting. Putting in time and money are a good combination for committing to anything, such as learning English. I also had different experience with group or one-on-one lessons. That is a different dynamic or a different feel, we can say. Group lessons are good for creating an environment of a classroom where you're able to communicate with other learners. Some people might pull you down because they speak worse than you, but they will also motivate you and you will be able to help them. Some students will be better, notice better than you, and they will be able to pull you up and improve your level. But in general, if you have courage, I recommend to do one-on-one and perhaps experiment with different teachers. Notice experiment, or you say experiment, which is also okay, but during pronunciation practice, you can try saying experiment. You should experiment with different teachers. Sometimes you might get used to, notice, might get used to their accent or the flow of how they speak. And that might be a sign for you to change or perhaps add a new teacher and practice seeing, can they understand me? Can I understand them? So try experimenting with different teachers and different tutors. A tutor is a teacher, different teachers or different tutors, and find one also that really works for you. Now, I heard that it is getting dark. Notice it is getting dark. So I will wrap up. To wrap up is to finish something. I will wrap up filming. Hopefully, you found this video helpful. If you would like to have a lesson, you can check out. To check out is to look at the link and see if you would want to. And thank you again for all the support and feedback in the comments. If you have any further tips or suggestions, you can write them in the comments, and I will see you next time. Thank you, and bye bye.